Mr. Griffith, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Marlon. Good morning to your many viewers and listeners.
Yeah, well, Mr. Griffith, let's begin this way. Has there been any new development? Because I know that the political leader of the UNC made certain remarks. You have responded. But before we get into that, have there been any new developments? Have there been an overture by the UNC, an overture by the NTA to maybe discuss what has transpired over the past few hours?
Oh, definitely. And the difference to what is happening now to what happened from 2010 to 2015, it would just be that communication, dialogue, mutual respect. So since then, and I think that was what caused the collapse of the People's Partnership. So what I am doing and the NTA we are doing is to make sure there's no need for anyone who's a member or supporter of the UNC or the NTA to be concerned. What is being done is specifically to prevent a repeat of 2010 to 2015. That is all it is. So there must be that degree of dialogue and communication. So there's no need for persons to panic and see headlines. Unity has ended, and not at all. What caused the problem in 2010 to 2015 was a hodgepodge agreement between several political leaders, sign a piece of paper, call it a Pfizer Accord, and really and truly that was not a coalition government. It was not an alliance. It was several political leaders signing and saying, okay, you'll be the prime minister, you will now handpick the president, the members of the Senate, the cabinet, the state boards, you will fire people when you want, I'll read about it in the newspaper. And that it is wrong. So what happened with Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, and again, there's absolutely no bad blood or anything between both of us. Her comments that she made would have been indicative to how she may have operated in 2010 to 2015. I am bigger, I am the bigger party, I have more votes more supporters than you. You will do as I say, you will listen to me, you will humble yourself. I just need your votes, I will get 21 seats and we run a government. That third constituency, Marlon, they are very sensitive lot. That 147,000 last count in 2007. So obviously with persons between the ages of 18 to 32 who are neither PNM or UNC, it would have increased. It continues to increase from 91,000 in 1981 with the ONR, 127,000 with the NAR in 1991 to 147,000 with the COP. They are not going to be involved in what I will call it political domestic violence, where you will do what you want, fire who you want, appoint who you want, and I, as a political leader, can't even represent my party to know what is happening until I read it in a newspaper. So what we are doing is just making sure there's a proper foundation for a good government, for good governance, and to make sure that the problems that existed in 2010 to 2015 would not be there.
All right, Gary, hold on, because I don't want to misinterpret what you're saying, and people who have read the newspaper and so on and heard your comments in the media. What is the state of affairs right now between the NTA and the United National Congress? Because it would seem from the reports that we have seen, and even reading your statement, I mean, Gary, you have called the lady fast, and she has said a number of things. So is there a split right now? You all have gone your separate ways.
No, not at all. Until the UNC and the NTA make those comments to say we're going our separate ways, this is what, when you're courting before a marriage, you're going to have issues and you're going to have concerns, but this is what is going to cause the foundation. What happened, and again, not going after Winston Dukaran and Ashford Jack and the others, they succumbed to the person saying, I am bigger, I have more money, I have more supporters, you will just listen and follow what I do, just sign this for the Pfizer Accord. No, that is all that, what I am doing is fixing the problem, and I'm opening that Pandora's box. Because listening to her comments, you can't just come here. I want to know how many people in your party, who appointed you. Who appointed Basdio Pandey what started the UNC? I mean, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar needs to do her homework. Exactly how the NT was formed is how the UNC was formed. By Club 88, Pandey appointed himself, and it took a year or two before the UNC had their own internal election. So the audacity of her trying to come and attack other political parties, that is what we are trying to bring forward. But that's what we have to fix, to explain to her it is not going to be a repeat of 2010 to 2015.
But some people have seen this as really a public political divorce.
Not at all. Not at all. Listen, in all situations, as I said, we are not going to have that concept of the old time, they have marriages decades ago to love, honor, and obey. That is this is not that type of marriage. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So as much as you may continue to use the word and refer to us as smaller parties, I intend to ensure that the NTA and all the other third parties or constituencies would be deemed as equal partners. And that is what I am demanding. And there should be no concern about that, because that is what is going to ensure a successful coalition government. A coalition government cannot be, okay, well, I have 170,000 votes. I don't know where she got the 300 from. That 300 she got only comes when a third party is no longer there. So when she speaks about 300,000 supporters, that is 120, 130 of the ONR, NAR, COP, NTA type voters. Anytime that they go separately, the UNC they never get more than 200. That COP and ONR type voters will always have 100 to 150,000. So don't just add them. The reason why you got your 300 is because there was no COP in the last election.
But couldn't this have been handled differently? I mean, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, she would have made certain statements. She was speaking at the Presal Secondary School. She said UNC members are not sheep who can be disrespecting, adding that her kindergarten members are critical of the party's successes. I mean, you have responded to what she has said, calling it disheartening, divisive, dismissive, and disrespectful to third parties. So how do you continue this relationship with each other when you have made such damning statements, if I can put it that way, against each other in public?
If Ian Allen and Roger Alexander could kiss and make up, anything could happen. But besides that, the fact of the matter is that is exactly what is required. We can't have political leaders going behind closed doors making decisions and the voters and the supporters do not know what is happening. That is what happened in 2010. So it is important that we have transparency, we let it be known. And Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, she showed her hand. She showed basically, I want to have the same type of government similar to 2010 to 2015. I get my 21 seats. You come, you bring your voters, as small as it is, but I know I need them for us to win. But when you bring them in, I will see what positions to give to you, and you will have no say in the governance of Trinidad and Tobago. It is important for me to bring forward that degree of transparency to let the country know. So again, because of her comments in public, which again was unfortunate, even to refer to UNC members as sheep, what she was doing basically was internal election politicking, by making comments to refer to people as school children and they want to get rid of you and I'm here to support you, and Basio Pandey had you all as sheep. So what she is doing now is trying to consolidate and put them under her wings to say, I will take care of you, the rest of them don't like you, which is unfortunate, but that is to keep your base to avoid a coup d'etat within your own party. That's your business. But when you start to attack and question the competence and the value of that third constituency, it is my right as a political leader to defend my base, my third constituency. So when she made those comments, it was for me to openly say, hey, back up. This is not Winston Lukran. This is not Prakash Ramada. I am not going to stand for that type of political domestic violence. So she drew first blood. It is my intention and my job to defend my supporters and to let them know that I am not going to allow that degree of political domestic violence where you can say what you want, refer to us as smaller parties. You must pull your weight. Pull your weight. I walked the length and breadth. I lost 25 pounds actually going into areas in San Fernando and Sangre Grande to ensure that UNC members support our candidates can win their seat. She never came up once. So to speak about pulling the weight, the NTA went into the belly of the beast. We went after the 31 hardest PNM seats. And every one of those seats that PNM would have previously won by 1,000 to 3,000 votes, we cut it down by a couple hundred. We cut major inroads. We set ourselves to show that we have now earned our place on the political map of Trinidad and Tobago. So when you make comments like that, it is my right to stand firm to ensure and let the country know there's not going to be that degree of political domestic violence, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is to make the country know there's going to be transparency. We are going to be treated as equal partners, and the UNC very well know the only person in Trinidad and Tobago that believes the UNC can win alone is Jerlene John. And Jerlene John, unfortunately, let me tell you quickly, Marlon, just before the local government election, she said point blank, we don't need you. We don't need anyone else. We can win. Jillian John has no political experience whatsoever. So it is unfortunate that one person who's a deputy leader has the ears of a political leader to cause her to have gone in that direction. All I'm doing is setting the UNC and the NTA back on the right path to make sure we have a proper foundation to ensure that we will have a proper, successful government.
But Gary, there was a political leader who said that he believed that dirty linen should not be put in public. Don't you think, and let me return to my question, don't you think that this could have been handled differently in private? You sending a letter to her and she sending a letter to you? Because I think in the public's eye, this shows some level of indiscipline between the political leaders, that's one, and it shows some level of instability in this relationship.
Not at all. And again, I go right back to when, before you get married, there will be many issues that need to be resolved. If you don't resolve those issues, there's going to be a quick divorce. That is what happened in 2010 to 2015. So I beg to differ. Granted that it would have been much better instead of her bringing all of those comments to target, embarrass, disrespect the third constituency, she should have picked up her phone and contacted me based on her if she had any concerns. Because even when she spoke about, you come here on our platform and you're using our platform, my parents taught me never to storm. Well, I used to storm probably as a teenager parties, but never to storm into things that I'm not invited to. So Kamala Prasad says, please do not mislead the country into believing that I stormed any UNC meeting. You continue to call and harass me and beg me to come on the UNC platform prior to the local government election. So don't come and try to give the impression that we were just throwing ourselves there. You kept asking. So my point being is that, yes, she should not have gone public, but it happens. And I think the important thing is that it was my responsibility to let the country know, because if I did not say anything, that rank and file of that third constituency would have realized, there we go, same thing again. She's attacking us, she's undermining us, she's belittling us, and the political leader will just say nothing and do nothing. No. Yes, I was a soldier, and people who have problems with somebody who was a soldier being in politics, 31 of the 45 US presidents had military service. Being in the military gives you a degree of fighting for what you believe in, making sure you protect those persons who you are there to serve, being prepared to take a bullet and die for a citizen of this country. I intend to fight and defend that third constituency with my life if I have to, and I'm not going to allow any type of political domestic violence. So I think it is important to show to the country we are now openly dealing with the issues to prevent a repeat of what caused the collapse of 2010 to 2015. Some people may have not learned, so they're doing the same thing and expect different results. My job is to make sure that there's mutual respect among UNC supporters and that third constituency, and to ensure that the leadership understands it has to be reciprocal. We must respect each other. You can't be going on the platform and attacking. And again, for 3 weeks, I have been trying to contact her. She didn't. She said she was busy. So these are the things that I intend to deal with and make sure that our third constituency is properly represented.
But Gary, do you feel that this has been bubbling for some time? Because it gives the impression that this is something that she has been thinking about. I don't know what you did, but she is very, very upset. And I base that on what she would have said. Something you do, Gary. What you do?
Well, Marlon, I was Minister of National Security, and I was a minister that got fired without the Prime Minister even speaking to me because somebody whispered in her ears. I was the Commissioner of Police appointed. She decided to abstain, but she decided to vote for Earl Christopher. So Kamala Prasad Basessa and I are not best of friends. She has her concerns. People will whisper in her ears, go vote for Gary as Commissioner. Fire him as Minister, but don't speak to him so that you won't get the truth. So she may have had her issues with me, but the fact of the matter is that the UNC needs the NTA and vice versa. So I am just here letting her know, hey, back up. This is not Winston. This is not Prakash. You are not going to be saying what you want and expect me to just bow down. Listen, we had political leaders that didn't even know persons in their own party were being removed as ministers and senators until they read it in the newspapers. That is not a coalition government. So all that I am doing, and to all the respect of that 200,000 UNC supporters, please understand, the reason this is being done is to ensure we get in government, not just to get in government, but to ensure it is a successful government. You can't have a successful government by one political leader speaking about you're a smaller party, prove your worth, pull your weight. and you do that in public. So she was wrong. Mistakes are made. But the good thing about it is we are dealing with the issues now. We are openly, because this year is something that was done since 2010 to 2015. So you said it is brewing. And the perception has always been there. As I said, the deputy political leader of the UNC, before the local government election, we had a meeting. She said, we don't need you. I don't know where Jillian John got this impression that she has any political experience or clout. Selling fried chicken doesn't make you a political expert. And I walked out. I said, well, okay, well, if it is you don't respect what I bring to the table, well, then I'm not going to eat with you. And it was Kamala Prasad-Bissessar pulled me back, and it was dealt with. But throughout the campaign, Jillian John was adamant and upset that about this relationship. Some people, Marlon, just want to be big fish and small pond. And on the NTA side as well, there were people in the COP felt that they were better than the UNC. That nonsense has to stop. I demand mutual respect between both parties. Anybody in the NTA that tries to undermine, demonize, or disrespect the UNC, I will let them know this is not the place for it. My job is to unite Trinidad and Tobago. My job is to find a coalition government to ensure this is going to be the best government ever. And the best way to do that is transparency. Not going in behind closed doors and then trying to come up with something qualifies about a court, but letting the country know that it is going to be difficult, but it must work because the country wants change. They need change, but it cannot be exchange. It cannot be one person just utilizing other smaller political parties to become prime minister and then run it as you see fit. That is basically a UNC government.
But you know,
they do not want a UNC government. They want a successful coalition government.
But you know, some of our viewers this morning may be thinking, there goes Gary again. Gary is fighting. He fought the criminals as police commissioner. He fought the prime minister. He has a history of fighting. And for the electorate, members of the electorate who may want to, let's say, vote for the NTA, vote for the UNC, what has happened here may be of much concern to them. They may view it that if things go left at any time, that someone may want to pick up their marbles and leave.
Not at all. Again, the reason why Gary Griffith has been like this is because I fight for what is right. I have ethics. I have principles. So if it is that as a Minister of National Security, I have a concern of other persons giving state contracts to gangs, I will go in cabinet and I will see it and move ex laws. I stand on that. Because I remember when I put my hand on a Bible in Parliament as a soldier, as a commissioner of police, was to my God, my country, and my people, not to politicians. So yes, you will see me stand up and fight in cabinet and have issues. Yes, if it is that there is a court matter, and I said as a minister that the police would like me to give it, I am not going to lie. If you don't like it, move ex laws. If I'm a commissioner of police and a prime minister is trying to tell me, take 40 million and go and try to arrest and use that to arrest political opponents, I will tell him where to get off. If people have an issue with that, so be it. That is not going to change. That is the type of leadership the country wants. The country wants leaders who are not going to turn around and turn a blind eye because of political value. They want somebody to stand up on principle. So let's look at it this way. Keith Rowley spends more time on the political platform talking about Gary Griffith than anybody else. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar is spending more time on a political platform speaking about Gary Griffith. So it says a lot, not about Gary Griffith, but the people who I represent, which is that third constituency. Rowley and Kamala Prasad-Bissessar are fully aware that the decision made by that third constituency dictates the direction and the results of an election. If it is that we go our way separately, you'll have the repeat of 1981, 1991, and 2007, where PNM will win by probably 25-16. If it is that we are respected, you will get a repeat of the results in 1986, 1995, and 2010. The only time the UNC have ever won on their own was under Basdio Pandey because he had the charisma to embrace that third constituency in 2000. And that only lasted a few months because of the same comments made by Kamala Prasad-Bissessar with her referring to the supporters as sheep. He didn't do that. He never treated them as sheep. What he did is he embraced that third constituency. What I am doing is defending my third constituency, who I am there to serve, to let the UNC know we are coming on equal terms, equal partners. It's not a case of You are the husband and you have more money, so I'm coming into your home and you're going to treat me how you want. That is what caused demise in 2010 to 2015. It is not going to happen again.
Let me just put this on the plate because it's a release that is making the rounds. Sangre Grande United National Congress Constituency Executive condemns the statements by Kamla Persad-Bissessar suggesting Basdev Pandey treated supporters as sheep. In light of these concerns, we call upon Kamla Persad-Bissessar to reflect on her leadership and consider stepping down from her position as political leader of the United National Congress. Your thoughts?
Well, the first thing is that release does not have a name on it. So there, even though it has a UNC letterhead. So it seems that there are people within the UNC wanted to express their view and their concerns and their recommendation. But let us just take a look at that release. I don't think it came from a bona fide representation of the UNC. So let us put that aside.
But you don't share the view. You don't share the view that Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar must step down as political leader. You still feel that she is politically attractive and she can lead her party with your party into the next general election and even win.
To sum it up, it is not my business. I would be fast and out of place to be able to tell another party, you need to remove your political leader. It's the same way when she was on the platform to ask, who appointed you? How many votes you have? How many supporters you have? Mind your business, stay in your lane. And that's the same thing that I must do. I might have my own personal views. I do know that during the local government election, she showed the charisma, the class, and the respect that was deserving of the 3rd constituency. And that is why we saw an annihilation of the PNM by 190,000 to 130,000. 60,000 vote difference. So it works. And the perception somehow is that certain persons say, look how we got inroads in San Fernando and Sangre Grande. The reason you did that is because the same Gary Griffith, who you claim we're not pulling our weight, walk the length and breadth of San Fernando and Sangre Grande for your own UNC supporters and candidates to ensure that the
Gary, we're running out of time. I just have about maybe 30 seconds again. But what can we see from your party or the United National Congress over the next few days? Is it that you are going to approach them for talks about this matter? What are we going to see?
And that is the issue. That is what I'm saying. It is going to be a lot of communication, dialogue, and transparency. I am going to let the supporters know every step of the way and letting them know what is happening. I am not going to do a repeat of 2010 to 2015. That is what caused the collapse and the demise of the COP, the Congress of the People. We are not doing that again. We're making sure there's transparency. And I give the assurance to all UNC and 3rd constituency supporters. We are going to fix this, but this was important. We need to build a good foundation to ensure a successful government.
All right, Gary Griffith, as always, thank you very much for speaking with us. We do appreciate it. Bye for now.